It's very, very important to have a support system, okay? So this is giving you a perfect opportunity. I don't want you to give it to your husband or your friend or whatever. I want you to honestly become friends with somebody else and talk and actually learn about this disease and have a support system. Without that support system, you're not going to make it through this journey. And I'm not talking about a support system on Facebook, okay? I'm talking about a person to be able to pick up the phone and hear a voice, a caring voice on the other end. So here we're going to talk about your neck cancer, your journey. We're here to support you. So some of you may know me and may not. Who has actually called NCAN and spoke to me? Okay. Are you aware that NCAN has a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 days a week hotline? How many people knew that? Okay. So if you have a question, New Year's, Easter, Thanksgiving, you can actually call and we can try to direct you in the right direction. So, NCAN's mission. So when I got diagnosed, I was misdiagnosed for 7 years. I was told I was crazy. I was told, which Phil and Mary don't say. I was told I was crazy. I was told I had IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, you name it, I was told. But really what the drawing straw was is that Robert and I went to a doctor, and the doctor, as Robert and I are sitting there holding hands, the doctor actually turned around to us and said, "Hey, did you ever think about going to marriage counseling? Maybe Maryann's symptoms are because you're in a bad marriage." Now, mind you, I was bleeding from the rectum so bad that I was having blood transfusions. But this was because I was in a bad marriage. And many people know, but many people know Robert is the most even-tempered person in the room. Robert stands up and says to him, "Are you kidding? Do you honestly think I'm going to pay for this appointment?" And we walked out. So at the time when I finally got diagnosed, after 7 colonoscopies, 7 endoscopes, and I finally had my journey, we realized that there really wasn't any education or any awareness or support groups out there except the Carcinoid Cancer Foundation. I got diagnosed on a Thursday evening at 4 p.m. Carcinoid Cancer Foundation was only open Tuesday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4. So I sat there from 4 o'clock on Thursday until Tuesday morning. And at the time, the doctors believed I only had 5 years to live. And you go online, and there was a lot of misinformation out there. And so I had young children, and I was really upset. So we started the journey of becoming advocates. So what NCAN's mission, which we originally called the Carcinoid Cancer Awareness Network, we turned it into Neuroendocrine Cancer Awareness Network. Our mission is to grow awareness, especially with patients, medical professionals, the general public, and to help patients and families navigate the journey. Now, in each one of you got a bag, or every other one got a bag. In the bags is a pin. I ask that you each wear your pin. And the reason why I ask you to wear the pin is that sometimes when you're standing in the grocery store or somebody's passing you, they say, "Hey, what's that zebra all about?" I want you to share your story. The way to get awareness is for each of you to share your story. Without sharing your story, people are not going to know about it. That's why we don't have enough awareness. If Steve Jobs told his story, Aretha Franklin told their story, Dave Thomas told his story, if each one of them told their story, we would not be in the position that we are now. When I was diagnosed, there was no medications except standostatin, which was for diarrhea only, symptom control, carcinoid syndrome. There was no test. There was the octreotide scan. The scan from, excuse me, hell, where you sat there for 3 days with your hands over your head. So we've come a long way in the last 20 years. But the only way that we're going to make a difference and change and get more treatments and get more doctors involved is by you sharing your story. So I want you to wear your pins, and I need you, I am begging you, to share your story with anybody that will be willing to listen. Don't be ashamed. Yes, this disease, a lot of us have diarrhea. Diarrhea, everybody gets diarrhea. It's not a terrible thing, it's the facts. Every person, every child, every adult has it. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, it's not going again. Oh, now we go. So, we have the hotline. Has anybody ever gone to our website? If you go to our website and you go to the resource center, you will find over 350 or more videos of specialists, just like they spoke today. This is a way to get educated on what's going on. We have also podcasts on there that you could hear other people's stories. You can hear doctors speaking. We send out free information packet to every patient that calls. We have support group meetings. We have awareness events. We do a gala. We do walks. The walks are virtual, so you just get a couple of friends and family. Walk at a local walk at a local park. Wear your t-shirt with pride. Each one of you received a t-shirt today. I want to see pictures of those t-shirts. Send me the pictures. We'll post it on the website. And we want to help you advocate for your best care. And that's really, really important. Okay. So why? It was clear that NET patients needed help and learning how to be your own advocate. These are some of the original doctors. When I started the foundation back then, there was 10 specialists in the world. 10 specialists in 2001, okay? So in the left-hand corner is Dr. Richard Warner, who has retired, but he was the guru of neuroendocrine. Dr. Gene Waltering, who was part of the New Orleans group. Lowell Anthony, who was supposed to be here today. Unfortunately, his flight got canceled. That's Charlie Nutting from Colorado. Our dear friend, Dr. Thomas Odorizio, who passed away a couple of years ago. And Tom was very important to me because he was the first doctor to come out to Long Island and say, hey, I'm going to be there to teach you about it. And we asked him to come out, and Robert and I didn't have much money. And we asked him to come out, and we said, all right, we'll get the group together, and we'll meet at a hotel. And I walked into the Marriott hotel with a credit card that had no balance on it. And I said, here is a credit card, and we're going to do this meeting. And after we walked out, I said to Robert, what the heck did we just do? And I said, how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for this? And he said, I don't know, somehow it'll come through. And so we started a dinner dance. And we raised $10,000 that night from friends and family. The bill for the hotel was $9,500. That $500 started NCAN, and we're still here today. And the bottom right-hand corner is Dr. William Go. So, practical advice on being your own advocate. Network. But I'm warning you, be careful of those Facebook pages. And I have a bunch of them. So I know it's very easy to get sucked in. But always check with your doctor about any advice that these groups are offering. They are not medical professionals. They are other patients. So if they say, oh, take this kind of tea or take this kind of thing, please check with your doctor, because there are some things that you may take that can interact with your medicine and cause more harm than good. So it's very, very important to take everything with a grain of salt. The other thing is, do not, I repeat, do not let anybody bully you on Facebook, say, you have to go to a specialist now, you have to have surgery right now, you have to do this, you have to do that. It is your body, it is your choice. However, I will say, once in your lifetime, the best thing you could do is to go and get a specialist and get an opinion of a specialist. Don't take the word of an oncologist about surgery. Oncologist handles one thing, a surgeon handles another thing. An oncologist is going to say, let's give you chemo, this and that. or a surgeon might say, hey, we can get this out and you won't have to do the chemo. So make sure that you get the advice of both an oncologist and a surgeon. That's very, very important. Keep learning. You are doing the best service of being your own advocate by being in this room right now. This is something that is really, really important. You got to continue learning. There's new things coming out all the time, so you got to make sure that you keep up to date. Join a support group. I know that the group here had fizzled down, but we're hoping that we'll get the group up and running again. But join a support group. Reach out to a neck specialist, like I said once. And if you're not getting what you need from your local doctor, fire them. Remember, the doctor works for you. You do not work for the doctor. So if the doctor's not giving you what you want, you need to find another doctor. I found 7 doctors before I was even diagnosed. I can't even tell you how many doctors I've seen since then in the last 23 years. You know, every year, a lot of us buy gifts for the doctors. If you do, why don't you ask them if they're part of NANETS, okay? Give them a registration to NANETS for a year. They could go and get educated about the disease. They could see videos about the disease. They can interact with other doctors. That is the best gift that you can give to yourself and to the community itself. That's very, very important. Okay. So right now, we have some things going on. On the table, each one of you, each table had a flyer on there with the QR code. We're doing a Driven Coffee fundraiser that's going to be on to the 29th. We are going to be in Nashville, Tennessee for another patients conference on September 28th. We do quarterly live streams, and we also sometimes do, several times a year, a Spanish-speaking live stream. Every first Wednesday of every month, we do a Let's Get Real podcast. My son, Michael, over there, does the podcast. It's either a patient or a doctor. If there is a patient that is interested in telling their story, please go over to Michael and let him know and give him your contact information, and we'll set up to share your story. Because it's very important. It's very enlightening to have somebody share their story and give hope. And that's really important. We need to have a positive attitude, and you need to have hope. And by sharing the story really helps. I know all the time when I get calls, and when people hear I'm a 23-year survivor, everybody is silently, wow, that's really great. And the secret is you have to have a positive attitude, you have to have the right doctors, the right treatment, and really be your own advocate. Because if I had not been my own advocate, I would be dead and buried a long time ago. So you need to make sure that that's really, really important. We have a virtual Strides for Stripes, and that runs in October through December. You can walk anywhere. You don't have to be in one place. You can walk anywhere. I don't care if you don't want to do a walk. Have your family over for dinner, outside, have a barbecue or something like that. Wear your t-shirts, take a walk around the block. What's really great is November's Neck Cancer Awareness Month. How many people knew that it's Neck Cancer Awareness Month? Okay. People come over for Thanksgiving dinner. You sit down, you eat a big turkey dinner. Go for a walk. Tell everybody, wear your t-shirt. Take a walk in the neighborhood. That's something that you all can do. You can make a difference by doing something like that. We have a Strides for Stripe in Charlotte, that's in November. And also we do a gala for the last 20 years on Long Island, which was the original dinner dance that paid the first $10,000. Okay, so here is the scan. You all have the piece of paper. Okay, so what I want to just do is kind of just reinforce the fact that you have to be your own advocate. I know I sound like a broken record, and I know that the doctors say it, but you really do need to fight for yourself, because nobody knows your body like you, okay? You caregivers, I know that you're all worried about us patients, but the fact of the matter is, you need to learn to take care of yourself as well. Don't forget about those things. Go for your mammographies, go for your pap smears, go for your anything, prostate, everything. You need to make sure that you stay on top of it, because we are counting on you for your strength. And if you let that go, that's not going to work, okay? So make sure you stay on those tests. Patients, make sure you stay on the test. Just because we have neuroendocrine doesn't mean that we can't get breast cancer or another type of cancer. Because I hear that all the time from the patients. It's like, oh, I don't need to go for a mammography. I got neuroendocrine. Well, guess what? You can get breast cancer just as much as the next person. So please stay on top of it. It's very, very important, okay? And I really want to thank you all for being here. It's very, very exciting to see full room. And we really appreciate it. I have to give my gratitude to Mary Maluccio and Dr. Phil Boudreau and all the other doctors here for speaking. Dr. Boudreau and I go back to 2006, right? So, and Dr. Boudreau has talked about many things, and we're really, truly grateful. And anybody here that lives in this area, you are so blessed and lucky to have a doctor so close, because so many of us have to travel so far. Take advantage of it. These are some of the best doctors in the U.S., and you are so blessed to have them right here in your backyard.